This is Leo, and welcome to the today's post-market report on Nifty and Bank Nifty on May 21st. Okay, so let's go and take a look at the order profile. The market profile chart first. And we had a very good opening, gap up opening in the Nifty. And if you look at this market profile, it was pretty close to the last swing previous high. Okay, and from there, market went down. Okay, we are going to look at all these things in detail in the order flow chart. Okay, but always keep in mind when there is always a big gap up, this is pretty much mostly emotional, and it will tend to revert back to the fair value area. Okay, and in this case, it has tested the previous day's point of control. Okay, now let's go and take a look at the Bank Nifty as well from the profile standpoint. So we can go to the order flow chart, in a real quick. Okay, so similar setup in the Bank Nifty as well. Bank Nifty had a good gap up opening. Okay, and this was a previous swing high valley area low, and it is tested this level. It is exactly opened at these levels, and from there on, market fell back, tested the previous day point of control, and then bounced back. So this is the kind of a structure we would see pretty often. I have discussed about this yesterday as well. So you can go back and look at my yesterday's video. This is one of the normal behavior of Bank Nifty and Nifty when there is a huge gap up, or even beyond it, 1% or 1.5% gap. Now let's go and take a look at the candlestick chart. Okay, so if you look at this candlestick chart, we can see that there is selling has happened right at the open. Okay, and market has fallen from there. It came all the way up to the 3 pivot, and there was a continuous selling. It is trading below the VWAP. You can see these markings. These are all continuous selling, right? And it bounced back pretty close to the point of control for the day. Okay, which is predominantly pretty close to the CPR. Okay, let's take a look at the Bank Nifty. So Bank Nifty had a similar setup. Okay, Bank Nifty had a good gap up, and the selling has started right at the open, and you can see this band which represents the selling, right? And from there on, market fell all the way. Okay, remember we discussed about the pivot points. Okay, so anything that goes below R3, okay, or goes above R3 is going to be breakout zones. Okay, anything goes above R3 is a breakout zone. So here he got rejected at the R3, and technically it will always come back and test the S3, and if S3 is broken, it will come back and test the umbrella pivot L4. Here in the Go charting platform, it is represented as S4, but technically it is L4. Okay, so keep this in mind, and this is a very important concept that I covered in the Cambrella pivot course. Probably you can go and take a look at it. So it gave a very good decent rally from 54,000 all the way up to 53,300, which is almost like 700 points. Okay, and you can stay confident on these while we look at the order flow. Okay, and now without any delay, let's go and take a look at the order flow chart of Nifty and Bank Nifty, where we can see the buyers and sellers activity. Okay, so now this is Nifty. Okay, so you had a huge sell-off, right at the open, and bar closed at the bottom, right? It was trying to push back, but then buyers emerged, but not with a good volume, right? There has to be a decent volume. Okay, I don't see any great volume as far as the buying is concerned, right? And here again, it started drifting down all the way. Okay, and it never looked back after that. Okay, and let me show you where the buyers emerged. Let's go to the 50-minute chart. It's easy. Okay, so when I look at this chart, right, we can see that selling started happening right at the open. It came all the way down, and if you look at this is a CPR bottom, right? CPR bottom has got some indication that the sellers are getting weak. Okay, so always keep in mind the CPR range is somehow equivalent to the point of control. I think I discussed about this few times before, right? And you should map it in your mind that the way that CPR works and the market profile works is very synonymous. Okay, Let me show you that again on the profile chart. Okay, let me show you the profile chart. Okay, now if you look at this, this is the point of control, right? Yesterday's point of control, and you can quite easily find out why there was a bounce back from this point of control, because people made sure that this level, or the buyers made sure that this level is defended yesterday. Okay, so technically this is a demand zone. So this is how you should understand. Okay, so technically this is a demand zone. So when the demand zone is met again by the sellers, right, buyers are going to chip in, and they're going to chip in, and they're going to bounce it back. Okay, and this is what exactly happened at the order flow chart. So if you can take a look at it, you can see that at the demand zone. Okay, and you can look at the relation between the demand zone and the point of control and the CPR, right? So if you see this, this is a CPR, right? This is a top central, this is a bottom central, and this is a pivot. Okay, and you can see that, right? You know, this range, CPR range, right, is acting as a demand zone for the day, right? So will it act as a demand zone for every day? No, it all depends upon the market structure. Okay, and that is what, you know, I will probably teach in the upcoming classes. And in fact, I have opened a Zoom session for few set of people on Friday, and I will plan to conduct that every Friday live. You can have a live discussions, audio discussion with me, and it is not just a chat. You can ask questions directly on the Zoom, and I will clarify the questions, you know, to the best of my knowledge in the chat itself, right? And if one follows this methodology, I can guarantee that your trading confidence will improve in the next 3 to 6 months. And that is a promise from my side. Okay. Nobody teaches this kind of a setup. And I promise that your trading skills will definitely improve in the next 3 months to 6 months. If you are sincere, if you're dedicated, and if you're eager to learn, and I can give it you in guarantee, right? I can guarantee that your trading will 100% improve in the next 3 to 6 months. But I need to have a bit of a commitment from your side, okay? And also this Zoom invite is applicable only for the people who visit my channel regularly and who also interact with my videos, okay, who give comments, who interact with my videos, and you know, make it more an interactive than a passive listeners. And that is only for the people who do that. And I have selected, there are only 3 people in the room right now, and it is going to grow. I'm going to start small, and then, you know, it's going to expand. We will start only on Friday for time being, but later on, if the demand increases, you know, this will go on a everyday basis. It depends upon the interest and people who want to learn and take trading as a very serious business. Okay. All right. Now, without any ado, let's go and look at the Bank Nifty chart. Okay. So let's switch back to the 15-minute chart. You had a similar setup here, right? Bank Nifty had a good sell-off at the open because you had a huge gap up, right? And which is 53,829 all the way up to 54, which is almost like, you know, 350 points gap up, right? So these kind of gap ups will normally, you know, return back to the demand zone, and then, you know, probably bounce back, or it could continue to fall down. It all depends upon the, you know, structure of the market, right? In today's case, right, we have been discussing about this structure for quite some time. For example, I've been telling that, you know, unless, gosh, okay, I've been telling that unless these zones are taken out, right, market is going to go in a sideways range. Okay, and this is what exactly happened. This was the point of control, and it returns back to the previous day's point of control. Okay, why this is white color? This is because profile point of control. Okay, not PPOC, but for simplicity, I'm saying is a PPOC, but it is a profile point of control. Okay, this one is a volume point of control. Okay, so there's a difference. You know, I will clear all your doubts, when to look at what and how to look at these things in a fashion that you will understand these things pretty easily. Okay, now let's go back and look at the Bank Nifty order flow chart. Okay, now we have seen this sell-off, right? There are attempts made, but all these attempts has come with less volumes, right? And also I'm ignoring that. Now, if you see that, you know, market fell all the way down. It was showing a lot of weakness here and there, but all these weakness are not supported by volumes. Okay, remember I talked about this volume. If you know volume, then there is no trade. Okay, as simple as that, right? And at this level, if you look at it, the volume is increased a little bit. Okay, little bit, but the bar closed at the high point of the range, right? And there was a weakness before the previous bar, right? And then market rallied and hit all the way up to the VWAP. Okay, so there was a bounce of about 53,200 all the way up to 53,600. We had a 400-point bounce. Okay, and from here to 4,000, we had a downfall all the way up to 53,200. Okay, which is almost close to 700 to 800 points. So this is the way that people capture a lot of points on Nifty and Bank Nifty on an everyday basis. If you're an intraday trader, you can do it this way. But if you're a swing trader, that's a different methodology, which I will explain in the classes, in the Zoom live sessions in the upcoming days. And if you're a long-term investor, there's a strategy for that as well. So the class is going to be very, very simple. You would walk out after 3 to 6 months period of time with a clear understanding of what you want to become. You want to become an intraday trader, or you want to become a swing trader, or you want to become a medium to long-term investor. Okay, and this methodology is applicable for even for stocks and everything, right? So I hope you like this concept, and if you really like this video, if you really want to be a part of my community, go and share your comments. If you're willing to join, comment to Zoom, right? And also go and give a comment to all my videos and share me the screenshot in the WhatsApp, and I will try to add you in the Zoom sessions on every Friday. Okay, I'm starting on every Friday, but this could expand, over a period of time. Okay, currently I'm not charging anything to get your feel of, how you want to, see the market, right? But later on, about the mentorship, we will discuss that later. But to be honest, market is being blessing me with decent returns. So I'm not really keen on, charging anything, but to maintain kind of a discipline and decorum, right? I may charge some nominal fee down the line, but not today. I hope you like this video. If you really enjoy this video and commentary, please share your video with your friends, and don't forget to share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment. Comment Zoom with a lot of likes and comments on the videos. Okay. Thank you. Jai Hind. Bye-bye.